All right, guys, we're rocking again. We're back into the packet. Lesson 4, histograms, similar to a bar graph. We just watched a video on that. So if you're at home, make sure you watch that video. They do about, it's a 2 minute deal. Very good, short and sweet, right to the point. It tells us a little bit about the differences and the similarities of histograms and bar graphs. But let's go ahead and get rolling in this thing. And here we go. Histograms show data in intervals, okay, or ranges. They are similar to bar graphs, but each bar touches the other. Look at the bars. They're all touching. There's no gap there. And they are similar to the dot plot because they represent overall data. So just like the dot plot, the histogram is something that we use to see change over time. If we want specific data, we would want to use a different type of graph. All right. So these are chunks of data. All right. So they are similar to the dot plot because they represent the overall spread and shape of the data. So if we look at this kind of goes peaks in the middle and kind of goes down at the end. If you look at that, if you drew a little arc there. All right, so let's get some information here. How many scores included in the data? Well, I don't know that yet. When I look at this letter A, I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do is kind of jump to B and fill all these in, and then I'm going to count, and then that total will be my number. So 1 to 5 has 1. 6 through 10 has 1. And then we jump to 11 through 15. Here's 15, looks like 16, one more, 17. Kind of hard to read sometimes. You may even need a ruler. We jump 16 through 20 and we get 30, let's call that 34, right? 21 through 25, right there's 25, 26, 27. That looks about 28, doesn't it? Yep. 26 through 30. It's about 16 to me. And then 31 through 35, 1, it's not quite 4. Let's call that 3. Those sometimes can be hard to read, especially with a bigger histogram. All right, so to get letter A, we're going to add all of these up. Okay, and if we grabbed our calculator, we could add them all up, but I know what they're going to add up to. They're going to add up to 100. Okay. That's a nice clean number for this. It doesn't always add up to 100. It could add up to anything that they seem fit. All right. All right. Let's make this a little bit bigger, which I tried to and I can't. So here we go. Which range of scores represents 17% of the data? Okay. Well, this is pretty easy. When we talk percents, we're talking out of 100. So what is 17 out of 100? 17%. So which range? 6 through 10. That's the range we're looking for. I'm sorry, it's not 6 through 10. Wow. How about this, Mike? 11 through 15. I just checked my work and I made my first mistake on the video. Number 2, what percent of the scores are included in the 21 to 25 range? 21 to 25 is 28 out of 100, which is 28% since it's out of 100, right? Number 3, what two ACT scores make up more than 60% of the sample? What two? So we need to make 2, and we need to add those 2 together. We need more than 60%. So when we add these two numbers, we're looking for something that's going to be more. Well, certainly the biggest one we're going to go with, which is 16 through 20, right? And that was what? 34%. We've already established that these are out of 100. And then the other one, we might as well take this one. These two added together, which is 21 out of 25, and it is 28%. When we add those two together, 2 carry the 1, that's 62%. That is greater than 60. Bam, we're in good shape. Okay. Number 4. How does the number of scores between 11 and 15, right here, compare to the scores between 26 and 30? So, how do they compare? Well, when you look at 11 through 15, it has 17. 26 through 30 has, so 17 minus 16 is 1. So, 11 through 15 has one more piece of data, or one more score, I guess we could call that, right? Okay. Write 3 statements about the graph below. 2 that are true, 1 that is false. Okay. So when we look at this, write 3 statements. 1 that's true. All right. All right, no problem. The score 1 through 5 is equal to 6 through 10. Scores 1 through 5 is equal to 6 through 10. Another true statement. Could be anything you want. 16 through 20 is greater, another mistake, is greater than 31 through 35. Sorry about that. Even the old man makes mistakes. What is false here? False. Okay, no problem. 21 through 25 is less than, all right, 26 through 30. Okay? I like talking in math terms, so I do. Okay? We're rolling right along. Let's flip the page. Here we go. On the next page, got a couple more histograms, and let's get after it. Number 6, determine the total number of library patrons, all right, surveyed. All right, so let's see what we have here. This looks to be about 8, 15. One above there looks to be about 6. I'm going to call that 2. Let's call this 7. It's a little higher than that one. And then let's call this, here's 10, 11, 12. Let's call that 12. Okay? So what we would do is add all of these up, right? When we add all of these up, we end up getting 50 patrons. 50. Number 7, how many library patrons are younger than 30? Younger than 30. So here's 30. Younger would be these two added together. 15 plus 8 is 23. Based on the information in the graph, which 2 age ranges are responsible for exactly 40% of the patrons? So we need 2. We know the whole thing equals 50, right? When I double 50, I'll get to 100. When I double this number, this will be the percent. So we need to think of it as half of what? 40. So we need to add 2 numbers to get 20. All right, if you think of it that way. And there's a couple different things here. Okay. So which 2 age groups are responsible for exactly 40% of the patrons? Well, if I go through, let's see here, 10 through 19, all right, which 2 age groups? And then I look at 60 through 69. When I add these 2 together, 8 plus 12. So when I add 8 plus 12, I get 20. 20 out of 50. When it's scaled up, times 2 is 40. 40 out of 100 is a percent, which is 40%. So I just know to get to a percent, I have to get it out of 100. Certainly could use your calculator. That's not an issue. Next one. Here we go. Based on the information in the graph, in which age range are 30% of the library patrons? Which age range is 30? So we need to double one of these numbers to get to 30. And clearly when we double 20 to 29, so 15 out of, remember, there's a total of 50. When we double it, we get to 30 out of 100, right? All percents are out of 100. 30 out of 100 is 30%. Okay? So we're starting to see how all this is fitting together. All right, let's go to the last one about distance running. How many runners ran between 3 and 4 9/10 miles each week? Well, here's 3, here's 4 9/10. So I need to add those two blocks. So this is, oh boy, 5. I'm going to call that about 8, and let's call that about 12. 12 plus 8 is 20 runners. And a lot of times what I'll do, guys, is I'll go ahead through and just go ahead and get this out of the way. Now I know what I have. Number 11, how many runners run less than 4 miles each week? Less than 4 miles each week. All right, so less than 4, I need to add all of these because I can't add this. 18 and 10 is 28. 28 what? 28 runners. Okay. Number 12, and I'll pull that up for you a little bit. Okay. Which of the following statements best represents the data above? Letter A. 25% of the runners surveyed ran 4 to 4.9. Well, if I double that, because I have to double it because there's, I'm sorry, I don't want to, I'm sorry. So we need to figure out, first off, how many total runners we have. So let's start back here for a second. All right, 25%. So the total runners is 12, 20, 30, 40. There's a total of 40, all right? So we need to figure out which one of these numbers, all right, 25%. All right, which of the following is the best represents the state? 25% of the runners surveyed are 4 to 4.9. So real easy, we can take this, and we're going to use our calculator here. So 12 out of 40, because I want to make sure we can do this. So I'm going to grab my calculator. We'll fire it up. Here we go. So let's go ahead and see. 12 out of 20, and let's change that to a percent. So I hit second percent, and there it is. That's 60%. Well, that's not true. That's 60%, not 25. Let's go to letter B. 1/3 of the runners surveyed ran 2 to 2.9. Okay, so it's going to be 10 out of 40, all right? And let's see if that reduces to a third. Well, I can tell you right now it doesn't. It reduces to 1/4 because we can cancel those zeros. So it's not true either. How about letter C? Letter C says 1/5 of the runners run 3 to 3.9. All right, so it's 8. 8 out of what? What's the total number? 40. So let's go ahead and reduce that down. We want a simplified fraction. So 8 out of 40. And if we simplify that, arrow simp, it's down arrow, so we have to do it again. And then with down arrow, we have to do it again. No down arrow, that equals 1/5. So 1/5, yes, letter C is correct. Okay? So a little bit of trial and error. But you're allowed to use your calculator on all this. Sometimes it's easier not to use that. All right, let's talk about the homework tonight. So the homework tonight is lesson 4 right here. Fill it out and do a good job with it. There's not a lot, but we did talk about it. Make sure it's just lesson 4. It's 1 page on the homework piece. Okay, guys, have a good day.